Okay, after a short stint with COVID, we're back working on the MG. I've replaced the spark plugs and the air filters here, and I repainted these covers. If you want to see those, go check out our Instagram or our TikTok. They're both short videos. I've got those posted up on there. But today we're going to be working on the fluids on all of the car. So I've got new coolant, new oil for both the engine and the transmission. It uses the same oil. I've got diff fluid. Okay, so it's just a 19 here. Gonna get this oil out that's been sitting for 10 years. All right, let's see how much I get all over my hands. Ooh, almost didn't catch it. I'm realizing now I didn't get a new oil filter, so that'll be fun. I'm gonna go pick that up and pick up some more of the same for the transmission because I also did not grab enough. Okay, good news is I'm not seeing any metal, so it should just be a simple oil change. Cue the song Dissolve. I just wanted you to watch me dissolve slowly. I'll do my best to show you, but so that's the transmission drain plug. And because this is a 1974 and a half, it still has the 1970 and below chrome bumpered transmission, which means there is not a fill plug on the side. But if you look all the way up in there, let's see, that guy goes into the cabin and that's how you fill it. So we're actually gonna have to go inside the car and remove some carpeting and see if we can fill this back up. So we've actually got to take off this center console portion in order to get to the fill plug. I've never done this before, so we're gonna learn as we go. This, of course, won't go up because it's in the lock position and I don't have the key. So that's gonna be fun. But I get the feeling it's literally right back here. So we'll just have to pull up some carpet and see. Okay, so I got it out. It was one screw in the little center console and then 4 screws around the shift knob. Yeah, I think this is gonna need a clean. And then you just take the shift knob off, and then that had 4 screws that were right there, and then 2 on the opposing side. And you just kind of remove the whole bezel and the electronic components. I guess luckily enough for me, the previous owner has already disconnected all of those. So whether or not it can get them back in and functioning is another question and a problem for another day. I'm still trying to figure out where exactly the fill plug is. I'm gonna kind of look around there and I'll let you know. Okay, so I found that the hole is right back there. You can see the light coming through. And I picked out the dipstick just to see, and I cleaned it up too, so that this isn't the actual level. But what I'm gonna have to do is just take and put a little filler hose in there and kind of check after each interval. It smells to me like someone put actual transmission fluid in there though, rather than the regular 20W50, which the manual recommends. So I'm going to be switching back to the 20W50 and I'm going to get that old transmission fluid out of there. Got the transmission all drained, so we're going to go ahead and plug it back up and then jury rig some sort of way to get it in from the interior of the car. Quick update, I did get a new oil filter in, so that's good. But what I also did do is I filled this up with about 4.8 quarts, and it just started pissing out the back side of the engine. So you can see that's still a little yucky. Valve cover gasket is bad. But also, this car has an oil intercooler, and so that's why it needed the extra half quart. But, you know, the engine needs to be able to crank in order for it to get there. So right now it is just very, very full, way over full. And so that's part of the reason that it started coming out of the valve cover gasket. But I do have a new valve cover gasket coming in the mail, so I will do that, just not right this second. did replace the mirrors, and I got a brand new fuel tank. Go ahead and open up the boot here. Oh! And I took and siphoned off all of the gas in here, but there's still a little bit of like sediment and junk in there. So I went with the new tank. Now you may be wondering, why didn't you just clean out the tank? And I'll tell you, the cost to clean out the tank was about $135 plus tax and shipping, and the cost of the new tank was about $220. And the new tank comes obviously pre-sealed, all good to go, but it's also 16 gallons rather than this one's only about 10 or 12. So for the extra whatever, I don't know, $60, I thought it was worth it and would be much less of a headache to just buy the brand new one. So I have the tank all supported underneath, and then I think it's just those two, those, and then there's two back here. And these may be clips. I've been told that they have temporary clips that could just go into like plastic bits. So I'm just gonna try and take the stuff out that I can see and see what happens. I got all the bolts that I can see out, but then I came underneath the car. Hey, yo, what? And I can still see like there and there that there are still things securing this in. So my suspicion was correct. Whatever's under those little plastic covers also needs to come out. But I need to take the fuel sender out as well, or just disconnect it. And then I want to make sure that there's nothing else under here that needs to be disconnected before I can drop it. Biggest thing about these cars is the scope creep, because I was trying to get these fasteners off to drop the tank, and I looked over here and I'm like, what is that? That doesn't look like that should be down there. And yeah, it should be up on that fastener. Right there, it's still attached, so, but also very frayed. Two more things to add to the list. Okay, so everything is disconnected now. The only thing I'm worried about is this line right here, because it doesn't really have a whole lot of movement. I'm gonna try and drop the tank just a little bit and see if I can just flip that over to the top side. All right, moment of truth. Whoa. May need both hands for this. That's what she said. Okay, so I got the fuel sender disconnected as well as that there, and then I had to take out the nuts that were retaining this fuel line and sort of move it out of the way. And then finally, there was this guy right here, so that went there. Unbolted that. Now everything should be able to drop. I just have to make sure that that fuel rail doesn't get in the way and get bent. Okay, well, I got it out. There's still a little bit more fuel in there than I expected. Bottom is really not that bad. I thought there was going to be a little more rust, but it looks like it's predominantly on the tank itself. I got to figure out what I'm going to use in lieu of these baffling strips. I think I may just use some kill mat that I cut into strips. I'm going to soak all of the fittings and the feed pipe, as well as these fittings and the gas cap, in some white vinegar and baking soda just for a few hours to try and get some of that rust off in the harder to reach places. So I've got a mixture of half a gallon of white vinegar and half a cup of salt, and we're just going to dump everything in there and hope it works. So this has all been soaking for about 3 days now. I'm just going to take a wire brush here and scrub off the rust. This is a great example of what the vinegar and salt will get off. This is the before. I'll scrub it and show you the after. Alright, this is the after. Not perfect, but it did quite a bit to clean it up and get it looking better, so I'm happy. Got everything cleaned, but it's looking pretty filthy. Next, I'm using some baking soda and fresh water in order to neutralize all the vinegar in case any got trapped in some crevices. All right, do as I say, not as I do. And as soon as you have these outside of the vinegar and salt, you want to wash them off and then put them in a fresh water and baking soda, so that way the rust doesn't come back almost immediately, because the vinegar and salt will continue to eat away at this unless it's neutralized with that baking soda. So I took it out of the vinegar and salt and scrubbed it and then just put it off to the side, and then it started coming back. So it's now neutralized, and I think I'll have to sit here and scrub it with a wire brush again. Fun stuff. I took some goof off and tried to clean out the gunk that was in the trunk here. Nice. One of the things I have to do is get these fittings from this tank off to the new one. So it just clips on the top there, and then the bolt goes right into that. As well as taking off this fuel sending unit. We're having some crumpets while we work on the British car. Okay, so we got fresh fluid in it, put some brake fluid in there, fixed the issue of it being overfilled, redid the transmission fluid. Got the fresh tank up there, and we're gonna fill it up.
All right, this is how you fill up a gas, maybe.
Let's see.
No.
Maybe we should read the instructions.
Yeah, maybe. So what do? You gotta push some stuff?
Yeah, you gotta push some stuff.
Push stuff. Is it going? Oh!
What?
I heard something.
Yeah, I think it's going.
Check for leaks.
Yeah, good idea.
Oh, there we go.
It does.
And then with the remains, we're gonna drink it to fuel our bodies as well as the car.
Gas is closing on your position. Suggest you get moving.
Smells good. Why is this leaking?
Say psych.
Psych! I'm not saying psych. There's a leak.
Wait, why is it stuck?
Stepbrother, I need help.
Stop, bro, I'm stuck.
Intake 2.
This car doesn't want to be worked on. There it goes. But yeah, we're leaking down here. Right here. Hold on.
Don't! Fuel is just seeping out from this.